Coming off a remarkable season, the head coach of Rice joins us now. David Bailiff also joining us, their starting quarterback, Taylor McHargue. First of all, Coach, last season, I would have to say that ranks up with one of the all-time great finishes in the history of college football. First 6 games, then you end up winning 5 in a row. What was that like?
Well, you know, first we never gave up. We lost in double overtime. We lost by 3. You know, we were in every game, and it was just a matter of us, you know, continuing to improve each week. And it was a tribute to these young men that they came over there every Monday, and they went right back to work. You know, there wasn't any panic. They came over, and it just they continued to strengthen their resolve to get it turned around. You know, we lost him in our double overtime loss, and as he got healthy, in return, we got to be a pretty good football team that you know, we knew we were talented. We just had to put it all together, and I was really proud of how we finished that season.
Was there one thing, and I think I know what it is, and it's probably going to be on the other side of the football, one thing in your eyes that was the main reason for the turnaround?
Well, actually, there was 2 reasons. One was the loss at Memphis. Philip Gaines, who does not talk much.
Right.
You know, after that loss, really challenged this football team. I thought it was really special that it came from him. And also, as Taylor's injuries and he got healthy, we could run our offense again. The Memphis game, he was still struggling a little, so we were very conservative. By the next week, he was healthy. And, you know, we really just, the young men just continued to believe in what we could achieve. And, you know, the Memphis loss was by 4.
Yeah.
You know, and so we were in every one of these games, and you could say if we did this, and this is a win. And they just, you know, they continued to trust and believe in the coaching staff, and they continued to believe in each other, and, you know, nobody ever panicked.
Taylor, we'll talk to you about that. How important was that for you? And what was the feeling in the locker room before the win streak? Was it like, guys, we're better than this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you come off of like you talked about the loss at Memphis, come back and get a necessary win against UTSA, and then we lose another close game to Tulsa. And so now we're 2-6 and realize we got to rattle off 4 in a row to go to a bowl. But that also, we've had 3 or 4 of those losses that we lost at the very end of the game, lost by 4, lost by 3. And so it was something that we just took the approach this day by day, meeting by meeting, and that it'll take care of itself. And started off against Southern Miss, then Tulane, and just one after another. Try to take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, and it was a pretty special run. And
of course, it ends up beating Air Force in a bowl game. Let's talk about you again, Taylor. A couple of years ago, we watched you. You came in, ran the option a lot. You were the human pinball, I've got to admit. But yeah. This past season, 60% completion percentage. You rushed for over 600 yards. How have you matured to know when to take off, when not to take the hit, and when to throw?
Well, I got to give credit first and foremost to
he's laughing over here.
You can't help it, but I got to give credit to our offensive line for part of that. We have having Nate Richards come in at center and solidifying that position has been huge, and so they kind of dictate when I need to take off and when I don't, and that allowed me to stay in the pocket longer. And instead of it being, you know, look to 1-2 and then scramble, it was I can get down to my back, I can get down to the checkdowns, and then scramble when you have to. And my role. It evolves week to week. There's some weeks where I will be called to run a little more than others, and that's something that's pretty awesome about our offense, how dynamic it is, and we can slow it down when we need to, we can speed it up when we need to, and it's something that Coach Reagan does an awesome job of letting me know before the game starts kind of what my role is, and sometimes it evolves in the middle of the game. So.
One thing that stood out too is you shortened a lot of the games. 34 minutes time of possession for your team. Was that by design?
It was, and it also, what's important in that time of possession, we were scoring points. You know, if you just hold on to a ball for 8 minutes and come up with no points, that's not what you want. So time of possession with touchdowns or field goals, you know, that was paramount last year. That, you know, it really kept the defense off the field a lot. I thought last year, though, too, our defense really improved. We held 5 or 6 opponents to under 20 points last year, best defense since 2001. Why I was laughing though is we're trying to teach him to slide.
I was just going to ask if he was going to slide.
We're trying so hard.
He's not going to do it.
Teach him
you
to slide.
Send him over to the.
It's just not it. Well, we've actually Berkman, when he was coaching at Rice, was supposed to come over and teach him to slide, and the Rangers signed him right on the day he was supposed to come over.
Let's just blame it on him then.
So we're still working hard with this young man to slide. It's just
not in his instinct,
it's
right?
His DNA right now is working against us. But we are trying hard to take some hits off him.
Here's the number, and we were talking about the difference. Gave up 560 yards through the first 5 games, 343 the last 8. That's a huge improvement on the defensive side of football for you.
It was. I thought Chris Thurman and his staff did a great job. We started the year really with some young players that didn't have a lot of experience, and every week they just got better. And they just continued to improve through the bowl game. You know, and Ev, it was you saw it at UCLA where we couldn't stop the run, and each week it got a little better. And by the the end of the year, we were one of the top defenses in the conference.
We're going to give a little love to the kicking game. Chris Boswell, the pride of Keller, Texas. Six field goals plus 50 yards. I'll take it from your standpoint. When you have a guy that you get to that certain yard line, that's almost an automatic 3. Does that take pressure off you?
Oh, it's huge. And he says the same thing to Coach Bailiff, but he says it to me before every game. He'll come up and tell me where I need to get it for him. And I'm serious, every game, and he'll get to an exact yard line. And I'll say, I need it to the 42 today, and I got it. And you're like, a 40, that's okay, we can do that. And sometimes he gets aggravated. We'll go for it on a 4th and 1 and get it, and he gets mad that he wasn't on the field to kick. It's like, Chris, we kept the drive alive, and we got a touchdown. I don't understand why you're angry. But he is a special talent, and he really is a weapon. I mean, when you list starters, you say we have 19 of 22 coming back. But really, I mean, I would throw him in there as 20 of 22 because he really is that special. He's a huge weapon for us.
When you were talking about the 4th down play, he was shaking his head.
Well, we had to have him in the office because, we'd be on the 40-yard line and he'll be tugging on my sleeve. Says, Coach, I got a little tailwind. I can make this. It's like, Chris, slow down now. There's sometimes we got to worry about where the ball is on the field. We just can't let you try to kick 70-yarders. So he is a weapon. When in the Kansas win, we went over and we said, where do we need to get the ball, Chris? And he said, if you get me to the 48-yard line, I got a tailwind, I can knock it through. And so I said, Coach Reagan, you ain't gonna believe this. He's saying we got to get to the 48, but let's go ahead and try, to get to the 30 or something.
Typical kicker, right?
But he's just really confident in his ability, and you know what? He backs it up. He's one of the first kickers I've been around that truly influenced a football team with leadership and with his accolades and what he's accomplished. He does. He's a big reflection of what we are. He just comes over there every day to work.
One final question, and Coach, is for you, because 2 years ago we talked during the season. You talked about changing the culture at Rice. How much did last season go to having that culture changed and then keeping it where it is?
I think that is one of the things we're doing. We're recruiting young men now who want to graduate, but they also want to win championships, and they want to work equally as hard on a football field as they do in the classroom. And I think now when these young men come over, they're fully dedicated to getting the football team program. 19 of these seniors are 5th-year young men who have invested quite a lot in Rice University and Rice football. And I think we're doing that. I think you see a football team now that embraces the fact that we can do both, that we can win conference championships and graduate. And if you see how close this football team is, it's a senior class, and when you get around them, you can tell they really care about each other. And I think it's got a chance. We stay healthy, we're going to have a special year.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Taylor, stay healthy, learn how to slide.
Absolutely.
He's not going to do it.
We'll be back with more from Conference USA after this.